For Life would like to thank all of our sponsors. Mountain View Guide Service, J3 Outdoors, Lennon's Lures, Wolf Creek Products, and PCS Outdoors.
The Hague Spring Clip by J3 Outdoors. Simple, fast, efficient.
Okay, here we are still in Michigan. We're on our way home, so back to Pennsylvania, so we're going to stop and see our buddy Jeff Haggerty from J3 Outdoors. He's in the shop. I called him ahead so he knows we're coming, so follow me. Yeah, how you doing? Nice to see you again.
Hey, Brian. Good to see you again, bud.
Get to see each other until the shows, but
Absolutely.
here we are with Jeff Haggerty from J3 Outdoors. He's going to show us a little bit about his bracket and the clip, and he's got a little display set up for us. So we're going to go through here, and he's going to explain how the bracket works and the different sets you can make with it.
Absolutely. So basically, what we have is we have our bracket, which is the piece that we have on the end of the chain here. That's our Hags bracket. What we're doing with the bracket is we're attaching it to the end of your chain. This will give you an option that's always with you at all times, so you don't have to ever worry about losing or forgetting it. Because we put it on the end of your trap chain there, we also added a stake swivel in there, so guys can continue to use rebar or T-bars or something along those lines. Then we also added a drowner lock to the back end of it. So basically giving you all your terminal functions that you would potentially use your swivel for today. But again, so this is what the primary benefit around the bracket is, these slots. So there's different slots on the face of it. There's two different size slots, and those slots are for different trap frame manufacturers. So what we're doing is we're using the end of the frame, and we're going to insert it into the appropriate slot. So this is a Duke that's going to go into the bottom slot there, and we're going to insert it about a 1/16 to 1/4 of an inch or something along those lines, and that'll allow us to stabilize our trap on a 3/8 inch rod. That gives us our vertical height adjustment capability. Primarily using this for baited sets, so I'll take a wire and I'll hang a parsnip, apple, or a carrot or something along those lines about 8 to 10 inches above the trap. Now I've got a baited set with my trap just under the water surface. That's how I primarily use them today. The other way that I use them the most is without the bait. So like on when you're muskrat trapping, if you've got you know, like a feed bed, maybe they're false feed beds that won't support the weight of your trap, I'll slide these right on that feed bed to where it's just underneath the surface of that water, and then I won't use bait. So I'll just get them coming and going off of
Yep,
those
so you can
feed
see
beds.
where they're coming off and where they're sliding off. Yeah, something
Absolutely.
like that. That's
So it's just super fast, super efficient, and that's what we're after. We're after efficiency, right? So we want to be able to provide trappers something that's attached to their trap. You can still trap the same way that you're normally trapping, right? So with pocket sets or blind sets or whatever it is, and whether it's coon, marten, mink, you know, muskrats, whatever. So you've got that capability, but with the slots, it gives you the ability to stabilize your trap as well. So we've also got slots on the top of it, right? And what that allows us to do is, let's say you don't have these fiberglass rods, okay? You could simply go ahead and screw one of these brackets right to a log or a stick or something along those lines, or you could wire it, and then that will give you the ability to stabilize your trap. That's why we've got the slots on the side of it. Or you could, what I'm showing here is I'm just wiring it, right? So I'm using the slots to run my wire through, and I'm simply wrapping wire around it, and I'm inserting my trap into the appropriate slot. Again, you could put bait up here. This could be a marten set, right? A lot of our guys in Maine are using this in replace of the stools that they used to use. Now I believe some of their laws are changing with, you know, some of the devices they have to use, but I know for like a stool set or something like that, this was working out perfect for them. They'd wire the beaver above it. And now they're not carrying that big wooden stool and zipping it to a tree. But, so just some benefits there. Here what I'm showing, again, we have a slot, right? So the main concept behind the bracket is, I'd like to try and tell people it's a portable slot, right? Anywhere you can mount the bracket and get a slot horizontal, you can stabilize your trap, right? So here I'm simply wired off to a rock. You've always got your mink and muskrats that are climbing up and down the rock, and well, if you can't, if the surface is too hard or too deep, you can't get something in there to stabilize, you could simply wire right to the side of that rock. Perfect. And get the mink or the rat as he's coming up and down. These are portable drain tiles. This is a demo unit that's, you know, that we take to shows, but I usually make them about twice this long. What this is I have a bracket simply wired to the bottom of it, okay? And this is the smallest size that I use. But what I'm doing is I'm taking that bracket wired, I'm notching the sides of it out, and that notching, what that allows me to do is that allows me to get the pan flush with the face of, with the tile there. So what I'm doing, now I trust me, I like to use body grips and all that sort of stuff in front of these, and I'd cut slots on them and whatnot, but what I would find is you get a lot of refusals, right? A lot of mink won't enter that tube. They'll all look at it, but they won't enter it. So by having this, especially having this flush with the face, you're not only getting the ones that were going to commit, but you're getting those ones that'll pass by. You know what I mean? The ones that pass by. Or a lot of times I'm trying to put together right now a lot of night footage of, you know, through trail cams and whatnot, of mink and how they're working it. But a lot of times those mink will come off, they'll drop down and away they go, right? They'll look in, drop and go. So this becomes very effective for that. The other ways that I'm showing use, for me when I first designed this, this was, if you can picture a water log, right? So if you can picture, you know, maybe you got a water level right here or something along those lines. And I'm thinking for me in my line, I'm coon, mink, muskrat sort of thing, right? So this, what I did is I simply took a bracket, and you can see it's not on there overly tight, right? It's just wired on there. And it's just wired enough to where it's not gonna tip forward. And I'm gonna take the end of the frame again, I'm gonna insert it into that large slot, and I just stabilized my trap on that water log, right? So I'm not chipping, you know, notches or any of those sorts of things out of the logs, getting soaked or anything along those lines. I'm simply wiring around it and away I go. So again, so to me, this was for coon, mink, and muskrat, but we've got a ton of marten trappers using this now. And they're using it exactly like this, as acts as a step. Another way that they're using it is on the end of their leaning pole. Right, so they're taking a bracket, putting it on the end, then they're putting their bait out here, right? So this is the only place that marten can step. So again, so just some various ways that guys are using the bracket, the way that we're using the bracket. There's a ton of other ways to use it, but these are the basics, right? It's really up to a guy's imagination or a girl's imagination.
Like I said, that's what's nice about it, because no matter what track you're using, I mean, that's a Bridger, you know, you got a Duke, Victor, it doesn't matter. Even Wolf Creek.
Yeah, Wolf Creek's work as well, absolutely, yep.
Makes it pretty slick, putting them little markers on.
Thanks, buddy.
Yep.
There we go. Got a rat in here. 2 of them at least.
Oh, there's a double. Cool.
Couple nice rats.
Oh yeah.
Let's see if we got anything else. Boy, if you stayed here a few days, you could have some mink, that's for sure.
Yeah. So you got
Through there last night. You know, that's the thing. Miserable weather. It's tough for muskrat trapping, but it can be awful fun for mink trapping if you know, ran a good mink line. Those mink like to move. Getting that nasty stuff.
well, that's not bad. Half dozen stops, 4 rats.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But
They're all nice rats.
there we go.
You got one?
Yeah, we got one. No mink.
So you got a dry, so that's basically what you're doing is dry land, mink, runs.
Yeah, for this little spot, what I'm doing is, this is such a little narrow ditch. And like I said, it was almost bone dry this summer, so I'm surprised there's any in here at all. But so yeah, so these little spots, I'll use a colony trap. You know what I mean? As trappers, you got to use, you know, an arsenal of stuff. But so here, I always set 2 traps, whether it's canine or rat trapping or whatever.
Just
I
to
always
keep
set
it.
2 traps. If I can remember 1, I know I can remember 2.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you keep it even, then you don't forget them either.
That's it. That's the reason I do it. So I won't always set 2 cages. Sometimes I'll set 2 cages. Sometimes I'll set a dry land and a water trap or whatever, but always 2 at each stop.
There you go. Oh, there's a nice rat.
Yeah, there's a decent rat in there.
Yeah.
Get him out before he freezes. That's, you know, your standard
Yep.
Michigan rat right there. Let me grab this mink set real quick.